When life gives you a lemon, you make lemonade. Welcome everyone to another edition of PM Partners in Marriage, and I'm John Godbolt.
And I'm Vertel Godbolt.
We are so excited to be with you guys one more time, and thank you for your comments, your love, your kindness, and of course, if you want us to come to your area and do a workshop, we do the 21-day love journey, and we got all kind of materials that we do it with, and so you make sure that you get a part of. Call us, text us, email us, come visit us. Go to our website, and maybe Ash will help you set up that workshop. Now, I want to share something with you that my wife and I both were teacher educators for umpteen years. She had more years in it than me. I was in the business world for several years. But there was something I learned that we learned about families. And as we studied this, I don't remember who told us about this, how we got the information, but it was 10 characteristics of effective families. Now, none of these things had anything to do with being wealthy, your race, what part of the country you were born in, your past history, or otherwise. But if you had these 10 things, characteristics operating in your family, the kids were successful. Mm-hmm. And I thought that was amazing to think, wow, we put all these other carrots out there and say, you got to have this, and people don't do me right, and I can't make it, I'm not successful because they won't give me this. Wait a minute. Mm-hmm. And the very first one is a feeling of control over your life.
Yes, children need to feel safe. They need to know that there is control, that their parents have their backs. They don't need to feel like, oh God, somebody's going to get me. And they need to be able to reach out to them, if they have a bad dream or something like that.
Sure.
The parents is that safety net.
And knowing that I'm the one to make the decision about my success. And we've done this before, called a circle of influence. And then there's a circle that's outside of that called the other circle that you have no influence over. Mm-hmm. When you operate in your circle of influence, you feel control. You're in control.
Right.
Another one, and we're going to, here again, we got to move fast because we only got a couple of minutes with you. Frequent communications with high expectation for your children. Now, we're looking at this. If you got kids in your house and you're trying to figure out what we're going to do, because when I were born, I flipped them over, and there was no instructions on the bottom.
That's true.
On how to raise them. And if I didn't have parents and grandparents and people who taught us, it's amazing. But talking with them about expectations of success.
Exactly. And I think a primary factor in that is the way you address them, the way you talk to them.
Wow.
Because both of us have counseled adults, and they say that their parents used to call them stupid. You're not going to learn anything. Wow. You're not going to be anything. You cannot communicate to children like that. And I know sometimes they make you angry when they do something and are disobedient or whatever, but they are not stupid. And you call them that's going to stay there. Yeah. You can't learn. I've heard them even say, you're just like your dad.
Well, again, I feel like, both feel like this. It's a generational thing. That's what they heard, and that's what their parents heard, and you keep that that spirit, that kind of disgruntled, bringing people down mentality over and over again. Right. Another one, number 3, is a family dream of being successful. I love what you guys used to say about your dad. You were telling him, we're going to buy you this, and how he pumped you all up about, listen, my girl, they're going to take care of me.
Yes. We used to get around his feet when he'd get home, and we'd see him. We'd take off his shoes and take off his socks and say, Daddy, when we get older, we're going to buy you. Oh, man, he would have been a millionaire if we could have followed through, if we could have really done all the things that we said we were going to do.
But the dream of it, the idea of everybody talking about it, and it being in the forefront of your lives, that's important. Because when you lose your dreams, man, it's tough. It's really tough. Got to go fast. We only got a few more minutes. Hard work is the key to success. This is what they're taught. If you teach your children and you're taught this, you got to work hard. You work smart, but you work hard as well.
Right.
And that will bring about a feeling of success. Don't look for all handouts.
Right, not entitlement.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, you have to work for what we desire.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Another one is an active lifestyle, not sedentary. You are making things happen. You are figuring it out. You're working and not sitting around again waiting for someone to give you something and
Exactly.
complaining when they don't do it like you want them to do it.
And that applies not only for working and money and that sort of thing, but it also applies to physical activity.
Oh, yeah.
That you need to work out. You need to put that in your schedule. If it's nothing but walking in the neighborhood or getting a YouTube video and walking. That's what I did today because I didn't have time to go to the gym and come back and get everything done.
Yeah, I like that too. And I was leaving the house and you were working out. That's good. Working out is good.
Yes.
Look, okay. This is another one about learning, and it really helps. 25 to 35 home-centered learning hours per week. In other words, you're talking, and it's not school separate from home. You're teaching learning lessons at home that ties to the school, and vice versa, so they can see that learning is not something I do just at school. It's in the house as well.
Exactly. And I had that growing up. I remember it well. You know, all the family meetings and I see that it's perpetuated even with my children. Sitting around the table and talking and having family days and just laying it all on the table. That works. It really does.
I know you were. I was impressed when we went to have dinner Father's Day with our oldest and their children, and how the dad made sure everybody's phones were down, off. We talked. I said, okay, I like this. We didn't have those kind of phones back during our day anyway. That was not an issue.
Right.
All we had was a 3-party line, so that was not a problem. Okay,
Right.
so we did talk. But also looking at this, the family is a support unit, mutual support unit. When someone's going through, we're all there for that
Right.
person.
Exactly.
And when someone is successful, we're all there to celebrate that success. That makes a family strong, and you feel good about knowing that I'm responsible to help my brother, my sister, et cetera, and my parents.
Exactly. Yes. I totally agree with that because when you feel one, that it's not just you are successful. All of us
Everybody.
are successful when one is.
Now, I thought this was interesting, too, that everybody had rules, part of the household rules, cleaning. Everybody knew what they had to do,
Yeah,
and
your
it was
chores.
enforced. You had your chores, and it was enforced. So whatever you had to do, you did it.
And you couldn't go anywhere until you were finished
Yeah.
with whatever it was that you were required to do.
I wish more adults saw that, heard that, and were raised under that, because it's amazing how we get away with things. And then when they grow up, you're wondering why the house is in such shambles. Well, that's another story for another time. We'll deal with that later.
Yes.
Again, talking with parents when you have teachers or children in the home, frequent contact with the teachers, communicating with them. Not threatening. We're talking about communicating to make sure your child gets the best education for him or her. Yeah.
That's right. And always keep in mind that teachers are human.
Oh, thank you.
And they might not see everything. So if your child is telling you something that's happening, you need to look into it because we didn't see everything.
Yeah.
And sometimes we can be wrong. And then sometimes we can be having a bad day.
Yeah.
And so you need to take all those things.
Yeah.
My mom would come to school unannounced, because back then you didn't have to go through this, that, and the third in order to get in. And you'd look up, and there she would be looking in the window, watching you.
Yeah.
So you need we need that kids will know they'll feel safe, and they'll feel like, ooh, I better stay out of trouble because my mom was anointed to be, Lord have mercy.
She can swing.
Ooh.
She can swing it.
Oh my goodness. She would follow you from bed to bed wherever you were jumping. telling you. It's something.
Our time is gone, but I got to tell you the last one, and this not last because it's least, it's last because it carries such weight. There is a idea, a concept of spiritual growth, not just going to church,
Yes.
but growing in your relationship with God. These are things that we found that works. When families have these 10 characteristics in them, they're successful.
Right.
With or without a whole lot of money, but they're successful. Guess what? Marriage is not a destination, it's a journey of love. Bye-bye.